Welcome back to Kris versus Everybody. I'm your host, Kris, and this is the podcast where I talk about anything unedited, uncensored, unapologetic, no filters, no fluff, just real talk from yours truly. This episode is brought to you by the Crisscross Studios YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, hit that follow button to stay up to date with every new episode as soon as it drops. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for your support. Now let's get into this. 25 days into the, I don't know, it's the third. Actually, yeah, it is the third Trump government shutdown. 25 days. The fiscal year for the government is usually ends on September 30th and starts on October 1st. They did not pass a budget for the federal government. Now we're 25 days later into the shutdown, and it's just not good. People just got their premium up, like stuff just went up. SNAP benefits are being taken away. Food stamps per state are being taken away or not funded because of the federal government not being open. It's not good. A lot of people are going to be desperate this holiday season. You heard it here on the Kris versus Everybody show. People can't afford insurance, health insurance, car insurance. Now they won't be able to eat. It's not good. This is the Trump administration, everybody. This is what we warned y'all about. We told y'all he does not care about the American people. And the Republican Party seems to not care about the American people because it's them, not the Democrats. The Democrats stalled it because if they didn't shut down the government, if the government wasn't shut down right now, a lot of people's health care would be gone. Millions of people across America would not have health care. Also, people who do have health care, their premiums will quadruple. The Democrats are just saying, hey, take this out the bill and let's extend the things we have for the ACA into the next budget for the next year. The Republicans don't want that. So that's why the government is shut down. Today, we're in a place no elected official wants to admit a full-blown government shutdown. Government funding has lapsed. Agencies are operating on minimal staff. Certain services are frozen. And the everyday machinery of our federal government, normally humming in the background, is now stalled. What's remarkable is how this shutdown isn't just business as usual. It's become a symptom of deeper dysfunction, political posturing, institutional breakdown, and a public that's left wondering what's happening to the country they're paying to keep running. Yes, these are our tax dollars that we pay for outside of our paychecks, our hard-earned paychecks. For many Americans, the implications are personal. Federal workers are furloughed or forced to work without pay, contractors whose invoices won't be paid, citizens waiting for benefits, permits, and answers that aren't coming. For those of us watching from the outside, it's a powerful reminder that government isn't abstract. It's an infrastructure. It's services, regulation, support. When it stops, we all feel it. And we're all feeling it right now. A lot of people around this country are now being told that EBT will not happen this month. And here's the bigger picture. Every day this shutdown continues, the count mounts, not just in dollars, but in trust. The disruption adds up. Uncertainty spreads. Projects delayed. Layoffs loom. Morale erodes. It's not just the immediate crisis, but the precedent it sets. So the question today isn't just when will it end? It's how do we get there? And how did we get here? And what does this mean for our expectations of the government moving forward? Are we still holding to the idea that the federal government is a stable partner in our lives? Or are we realizing more and more that the system depends on political will? And when that evaporates, so do services. I want to invite you, our listeners, into that conversation. How is the shutdown touching you personally? How are you feeling disruption in your personal and professional life, your community, your relationship with the government? And beyond that, what should we expect going forward? Because a shutdown like this is more than a pause, it's a warning. So as we sit here in another government shutdown, I can't help but to think we've been here before. Maybe not in the same exact way, but history has a pattern of echoing itself when Washington stops working. Now let's rewind for a second. The first major government shutdown was under our modern budget rules, happened in 1980 under President Carter's administration. It only shut down for a few days over a technical funding issue. Back then, it was almost procedural. People didn't use the term shutdown just yet. But by the time we hit the 1990s, shutdowns had turned into political weapons. If you guys are old enough, because I'm not old enough, I was born in 1995, but in 1995 and 1996, President Bill Clinton versus Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich at the time, Republicans had just taken control of Congress for the first time in 40 years and were demanding deep spending cuts. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Clinton refused those. The government shut down twice, once for 6 days and then again for a brutal 21 days, where hundreds of federal workers, thousands of federal workers actually, were furloughed. National parks closed, passport offices went dark, and even the National Zoo had to send its pandas behind closed doors. But here's the twist. The public blamed Congress at the time, not the president. Clinton's approval ratings went up during the shutdown because he was fighting for the American people. That's when politicians realized something. Who gets the blame more? Who gets the blame matters more than who's right. Now, fast forward to Obama during that shutdown in 2013. This time for 16 days over a fight over the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, which would give millions of Americans health care. House Republicans at the time in 2013, that's when the House became Republican again, majority Republican, demanded that the law be defunded as a condition for keeping the government open. As a result of the Republican-led Congress, 800,000 federal employees were furloughed. Economic growth slowed, and the US government came dangerously close to defaulting on its debt again. And then, of course, in Donald Trump's first term, 2018 into 2019, the longest shutdown in American history for right now, because we have 10 days until that happens, it was over Donald Trump's border wall. He wanted to make a big wall. It's going to be a beautiful wall. And stop crime. We're going to stop the rapists. We're going to stop them from coming in here to our beautiful country. It's going to be a beautiful wall. Like Donald Trump and his wall, and the Republicans who wanted to help him get that wall, really fucked us over. This was over border wall funding, everybody. The Democrats said, no, we ain't doing that. So we went to another shutdown. Air traffic controllers were working without pay. Millions of Americans saw the government shut down again. And millions of Americans saw what government shutdown really meant. Not politics on paper, but paychecks frozen, mortgages missed, and a real pain. So when I say, oh, it's just another shutdown, I think they forget. Every one of these moments has chipped away at public's faith in government. It's like a leaky roof, a very leaky roof. The more it happens, the more water damage seeps into the foundation. And today, it's not just about budgets anymore. It's about power, ideology, and political brinkmanship. Shutdowns have become theater, a way to send a message, to flex strength, or to signal purity to a base. But what they really send is uncertainty to the markets, to our institutions, to our own sense of stability. Historically, shutdowns were meant to be a check, a safety valve in our constitutional system, forcing Congress and the president to compromise. But in today's environment, compromise itself has become a dirty word, and that's very dangerous to a democracy. Because if our leaders can't agree to keep the lights on, how are they supposed to tackle issues like housing, healthcare, and the climate? The truth is, America has always had political fights. That's part of the democracy. But there used to be red lines, things you just didn't let collapse, like people's health care. This government shutdown is about health care. Don't let Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC fool y'all. Watch C-SPAN. Watch a session of Congress. Read the bills. They're public information. This whole shutdown is on healthcare. The Republicans want to take it away from you. The Democrats want to keep it. They're not agreeing on the budget because of people's health care. The Democrats are showing up to Washington. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, told every Republican representative not to show up to Washington, D.C. until the Democrats cave in. And let me tell you, it's not going to happen because obviously right now in this government shutdown, the Democrats have the American people in mind and the Republicans don't. And the people who do support I can't even say their names right because I'm so pissed off right now. And if you do support the Republicans, shame on you. Because more than likely, you are going to be affected if the government didn't shut down and you had to pay quadruple your health care. You didn't have health care. Or something else gets worse because of the Republican Party. So the shutdown we're in now might end next week or next month or tomorrow, hopefully. But what it represents, the inability to function even on the basics, is that part that sticks. It erodes trust, it normalizes dysfunction, and it sends a message to the world that America can't even agree on paying its own bills. And maybe that's the biggest cost of all. Not the lost money or the delayed paychecks, but the lost confidence. Because when citizens stop believing in the government, the cracks start forming in the foundation of democracy itself. So as we wait for Congress to strike a deal, I think it's worth asking, what kind of government do we want? One that shuts down every few years out of spite and stubbornness, or one that remembers that compromise isn't weakness, it's the glue that has held this country together since 1787. History shows us that shutdowns end when pressure builds high enough. But real progress, that only starts when accountability begins. not in Washington, but with us, the people. This isn't just a shutdown of government, it's a test of governance, and history's watching to see if we'll finally learn from it. So here we are, another shutdown, another political stalemate, another round of finger pointing from people who swore they represent us. But while Washington argues, the rest of us don't get to shut down. The mail still needs to go out. Families still have bills. Federal workers still have rent due. The country still moves, even when Congress doesn't. And that's where we come in, because democracy doesn't live in the Capitol. It lives in the communities, neighborhoods, and conversations like this one that we're having right now. So what can we do? First, we need to stay informed. Don't just scroll headlines. Understand what this shutdown really means for real people. Federal employees, small businesses, owners waiting on loans, parents who rely on food assistance, veterans waiting for benefits. When we understand the impact, we can push for accountability. Second, use your voice. Call your representatives. Email them. Tell them how this shutdown affects you, your family, your job, your city. You'd be surprised how often offices track public opinion, sometimes down to the phone call. Silence is permission. Remember that. If you don't contact your representative, you're telling them you're okay. Keep on going. Keep on with this government shutdown. Silence is permission, and apathy is acceptance. Third, show compassion. If you know someone who's furloughed or forced to work without pay, help where you can. Share a meal, check in, offer resources, or even just listen. This is what the community looks like when the government stalls. And finally, remember this moment when the election comes around, because shutdowns don't happen by accident. They happen by choice. They happen because of who we send to represent us. If we want a government that doesn't play chicken with the economy, then we need leaders who value service over spectacle. The irony is that even in a government shutdown, we still have power. The power to stay engaged, the power to demand better, the power to remind Washington that this country doesn't belong to the politicians, it belongs to the people. So until the lights come back on in DC, let's keep the light on in our communities, because the government may be shut down, but the people aren't. And that has been another episode of Kris versus Everybody. I will have the link in the description to see who your representative is around the country. Please click the link. You're welcome. See y'all next time on Kris versus Everybody.